This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder.
Marc Price is the director of the British horror film Colin, which breathes new life into the undead. It's about the life of a zombie told through his own eyes. It's now available on DVD, and Marc joins us via Skype communications from London, England. Hello, Marc.
Hello.
Thanks for being on the program with us. So you have brought this zombie literally to life on the screen, but you've done it rather inexpensively, I may add.
It was. I think we're just like low-budget filmmakers, really, and like every other low-budget filmmaker I know, we just had to use what we had available to us to try and tell our story. So.
But just how low was your budget?
Actually, the idea was that I think there's a lot that's being touted about. I think at the moment this is 70 through inflation. I guess is $75 or $70. I think is $70 US.
Okay. A lot of people might think that's $75 US. That's no budget. Yeah.
It pretty much is. Yeah, that was the idea. Actually, the plan was to not spend any money at all. So we're already 100% over budget.
I mean, here in Canada, because I know I drive a minivan. Here in Canada, that's more than a tank of gas.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, that's less than a tank of gas is what I'm saying.
The thing is that the money that we spent, we spent on things we didn't really need to spend it on. So, it's like I ended up buying a pack of tapes for a shoot that I turned up the shoot. I only had one tape with me. I didn't have any more, so we had to go and buy some. But by the time the guy came back with the tapes, we'd actually wrapped, and we didn't need them anyway. So it was a total waste of money. I'm really, really bad with my spending, I think.
So
something that should be celebrated.
Judging by what you just said, not only is it an inexpensive budget, but it sounds like it's a short shooting schedule.
Yeah, we tend to shoot quite quickly. I mean, when you're shooting in the streets and you've got traffic and people with their arms hanging off, you kind of want to get the shots quickly before the police show up to say to start asking questions. We didn't have any permits either.
I was just about to say this is like guerrilla filmmaking, which I'm sure is part of the lure of all this. You've never asked for permits and the like?
No. I mean, no. I think we did shoot a street fight sort of sequence for the movie that was quite big, and lots of explosions, smoke, screaming, body parts strewn across the street. And we told all the people who lived there, but I guess someone wasn't paying attention because they did call the police, and one policeman showed up by himself, responding to reports of a riot, and I think he was kind of relieved, really, that it wasn't a riot. It was just us shooting a movie, and he didn't take any of our equipment off us. He just smiled, took some pictures, and went home quite content. So, phew, a bit lucky.
Now, your full name is Marc Vincent Price. With the name Vincent Price, were you predestined to make horror films?
I don't know, cause it's quite odd because my dad's middle name is Vincent as well. My dad's name is Colin. I named the movie after my dad, so his full name is Colin Vincent Price. I think my grandparents were fans of Vincent Price. My dad isn't a fan of horror, so I don't know. It's kind of a strange one. But he liked Colin, and that's the important thing, I think. It's quite a relief that he actually liked the movie I named after him.
So tell us about the film. As I said in the introduction, it's the life of a zombie told through his own eyes. Are you somebody who's shall we say, sympathetic to the zombie cause, as it were?
Well, I just kind of thought, I'm worried I'm going to sound pretentious now, but I'm going to go for it. I hope I don't sound too pretentious. But I kind of think that we live in really interesting times where I think the question of the other side is always being asked, wherever the conflict. And I kind of thought it'd be really interesting just to tell a zombie movie and not necessarily slap the label evil on something, but let's just sort of explore that side of I guess of a zombie, really. And I just thought that'd be quite interesting. I thought an audience would be quite open to that. And by an audience, I kind of figured my friends, who I thought would be the only audience for the movie, in my bedroom. But no, so that was just my approach, really, and because I wanted to do something that's a bit different for the genre, and the idea was that it would go off to, I guess, horror websites, and it would be maybe a little teeny thread in a forum somewhere. And I just liked the idea of eventually someday someone who I didn't know managing to get hold of the film and watching it and hopefully liking it and contributing to a to a forum post somewhere. So yeah, that was all I ever really expected.
Well,
So everything else
you mentioned your original plan. Was it your goal to, because the film is now available on DVD, was it your goal to be a mainstream film, a DVD film? I mean, you shot this film in a guerrilla style. Did you expect it was going to remain an underground film and only a few people would see it? The fact that it's going to be on DVD and the masses could get it, was that part of your original plan?
No, not at all. I mean, I'd hope we'd get some sort of distribution and maybe something quite small. But I certainly didn't expect. I mean, what's happened to have happened, and it's just been. I kind of don't understand why us. To be perfectly honest with you, because like I said, every other filmmaker I've met, they make their movies in the exact same way. They just make use of whatever it is they've got available to them, and I don't quite understand why we're the ones that get all the attention for it, because every filmmaker I know is doing the same thing.
Do you think that your style of filmmaking is almost bringing films back to the masses? I mean, we've reached a point where a lot of the big movies out there seem to have really bloated budgets, and we're not necessarily getting our bang for their buck.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of focus now on sequences and set pieces rather than story or at least an emotional connection to the characters involved. I think horror is a really good example of that now, where it seems to be as many kills as you can squeeze into 90 minutes with no real, with no connection to the characters whatsoever. And that was always the thing. I mean, the reason that the gory moments in those 80s horror movies had so much impact is that you kind of liked the character that was going through that. And I think that's gone now. I mean, I'm not like knocking the Saw movies or anything. I mean, I think they're pretty good fun, but there's no tension in those movies at all. You're just waiting for the next bit where someone gets killed in an incredibly inventive way. But in all fairness, they've managed to keep quite inventive for, was it like 7, 8 movies now?
Your movie was at the Cannes Film Festival?
It was, yes. It was in the film market, not the actual festival itself. It was part of the film market, so it was there with 8,000 other movies.
What was it like just to hear the fact that your film was part of that festival?
That was amazing. I mean, it was Helen Grace, really, the sales agent. It was her idea to go to Cannes, and I was living out my overdraft at the time. I really felt, a holiday wasn't the smartest move financially for me. And I didn't think it would be, I didn't think we'd stand out with, like I said, 8,000 other movies. So, but we went, and it was just a little news story to a British network, ITN, that went out to the press association after that, and before we knew it, I was answering all these questions. I guess because it was a quiet year at Cannes, and because the global economic crisis was making headlines all over the world. So I think we sort of fit into that quite comfortably, and we were able to sort of take advantage of it to try and let everyone know about our movie.
Now, being a filmmaker, is that your full-time job, or as the saying goes, is there a day job involved here somewhere?
There is a day job, yeah. I'm not sure I'd actually call myself a filmmaker quite yet. I think maybe when it becomes the thing I do to pay the rent, then I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm a filmmaker now. But yeah, there is a day job that I've got, and I've been quite lucky with it, actually. They're very patient with me there, and actually that was where I wrote the script for Colin, and where I edited most of it as well.
What do you do?
I just answer phones. It's me and another guy, and we coordinate sort of a car company for the car division of a courier company. And initially it was very quiet. We're a lot busier these days.
So is making films, is this the passion that drives you through the course of the day and allows you to do the other things, the more mundane things that you might do in a day-to-day existence?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a total fan of film, and that's all encompassing. I mean, I kind of feel like guilt for having not seen as many films as I should have, but I will watch anything. And then that's from like your biggest blockbuster to your smallest sort of film that someone made who lives in the same area, who just gave it to me, on DVD one time because we were chatting in a pub. I mean, I kind of love that. One of the best things about Colin is that filmmakers sort of get in touch through Facebook and they say, I've made a movie, would you mind having a look at it? And I'm like, I'd love to. Because it's like a real treat to be able to watch a film that isn't distributed, and then you find some amazing gems some really talented people have made. And I guess that, we just got really lucky, I think, with ours. Because distribution, that's a difficult beast to control.
It's quite the global village, isn't it?
And it's really kind of, I mean, I do find that distributors can be quite cowardly, I suppose, in their approach. I mean, I was talking to my sales agent, and she was saying that, particularly with horror movies, they don't often watch them. They'll just go through them fast forward, and they'll work out the average kills. And if there's enough of them, they've got some in the market. So they'll take the film. It's such a cold way to to look at something that people have like worked really hard on to, you know, regardless of whether the film's any good or not. A lot of people's, you know, sweat have gone into making these movies, and it's a shame when people don't have the courtesy to at least watch it.
So the film is called Colin, and how can people get their hands on it? As I said, it's available on DVD.
Yes, it's. I mean, I know you can get it on Amazon, and I always feel bad plugging it, but there's a 2-disc set available, and on it is a lovely little making of. That is just, even if you hate the film, the making of is so much fun. So, you know, at least you can kind of get something out of it before you try getting your money back.
Excellent. Well, good luck to you with the film, and we look forward to not only this film, but future projects indeed.
Thank you very much.
Marc Price, the director of Colin. You can go to my website at thestuffile.com, go to the What's On page for this program, and this show is number 0064. And you'll find links to the movie's website and also links to Amazon.com and Amazon.ca, where you can order the film directly.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestuffile.com. Stuph is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestuffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.